Good morning, go getters. How are you doing out there? This is Cami. How are you? I am really excited to be here with you today because I'm going to share with you one of the things that I hated the most about having my own business, and that is selling stuff. It's always really been something that I haven't liked that much. I'm going to actually pull this over so you hear me better. Aha, I can even hear myself better when I do that. Anyway, selling is such a difficult thing for most people, I think. It feels like, you know, you're trying to get people to buy something they may not want, or you don't want to push, or you think about used car salespeople. Sorry if you're a used car salesperson out there. You think about that kind of thing, and you just that pressure that you're going to put on people. I've always hated that. I hated people putting it on me, and so I don't want to put it on other people. So for me, whenever having my agency came about, one of the things that we have to do is write proposals, have sales. It's not my favorite thing. It still probably isn't my 100% favorite thing, but one of the things that really changed the way I thought about sales was this little book. Whoop, 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 whoop. I showed this yesterday and I said I'd come and talk to you about it today. And as you can see, it's dog-eared. I've spent a lot of time in this book over the years. It's not a new book. It's by Jeffrey Gitomer, and he still writes a lot of really great books. But this one specifically, this little red book of selling, is sort of like it became like a turning point for me mentally. So, people talk about mindset shifts. You call it that, or you could just say that, I was able to see it in a different light after reading this book. The other fun thing about this book is if you open it up on the inside, it's very untraditional as far as books go. It's pretty with a bunch of like color stuff in it, and it's funny, and it has a lot of really great ways to think. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to share it with you. And he talks about the 12.5 principles of sales greatness. And I wanted to just share some of these with you. Some of them they have some bad words in them, so I'm not going to say them all the way he did. But the first one is to kick your own rear end. That's what he said. And what he means by that is that part of what the problem is with selling in general is that we just don't do it at all because we're afraid of it, or we just sit around and don't think about what we're going to do next. So the idea is that you got to get out there. You got to get out there, and you've got to get out there and start talking to people. That's really, really, really important. And it says prepare to win. That's the second principle, or lose to someone who is prepared to win. So that's the other part, is that there's going to be people out there that are going to do sales. So if you have like morals and sort of feelings around sales that are better, you might want to be the one that's out there doing this, like working with people. So personal branding, he says, is sales. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. Now, I know this is true. I've always really resisted personal branding as an idea because I feel like really it's about your reputation. And it is about your reputation. It's really what people think about you and know about you. But here's the thing. Most people don't think about you much. That's the truth. We worry so much about what people think about us and being judged and so on. And I definitely have those feelings too. Like, oh, are people going to judge me? I'm getting on videos all the time. They're going to be nitpicking away. Oh, she made this mistake and she did that thing. You can really like talk yourself out of doing a lot of things if you think about what other people are thinking about you. And the truth is that they may do that. They may come on and have a little nitpicking moment, but by about 20 minutes later when they're drinking their coffee, they don't even remember who you are or even think about you again. So if you don't show up, you don't exist. That's really the truth. So that's one of the things I loved about what he had here. He's just, kind of kick you in the rear kind of idea. But the idea is that, if you're not showing up, they're not going to know who you are. And believe me, they're not going to be judging you as you sit drinking your own coffee on your couch. So you got to show up. You got to like get out there and like show what you have and talk to people and really build those relationships. And that's actually his fourth principle. I'm reading these right here. It's all about value. It's all about relationship. It is not about the price. Oh, this is a big one, right? Especially right now. So many people have lost their jobs. There's this like unrest in the entire world right now. If you're trying to sell something right now, it's really scary because, well, number one, you're not sure if somebody will buy it, number one. But number two, it's like some people are feeling like they shouldn't even sell something right now because it's not fair for people who've lost their jobs to ask them to buy something. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. I think that's somewhat true. I would not want to pressure anyone to buy anything right now. But the truth is that not everyone has lost all of their money and all of their jobs. There's some really horrible things going on right now. But if we do not continue to buy and sell things, we are going to lose our entire economy. Period. So I really am looking to help people get online and start making a living online. If they're not making a living in a job, they need to be selling something that actually works and that actually helps people. And that's really the bottom line. I really am not going to be shy about that. I feel like we have to be doing this right now. We need to be building this economy. And I feel like we have flattened the curve, if you want to call it that, for business adoption of technology. That's definitely happened. It's been coming. Amazon came, we get things. I mean, thank goodness for Amazon. I mean, I'm getting stuff at my front door like daily. So, I mean, thank goodness for Amazon. But, that's been coming along over time. And unfortunately, it's really put a lot of pressure on local and smaller businesses. So, how do we help local and smaller businesses to amortize? That's a word, right? Anyway, so how do we do that? How do we get these local and small businesses online so that they have it? So, one of my favorite restaurants here near my house, it's called Ginger Thai. I love it. It's like my favorite place in all of creation. I mean, they have a curry there that I love. Anyway, so I go there, maybe once or twice a month, I would say, to go get that curry. That's on Thursdays, which was yesterday. So yesterday, we were driving up over there and waiting outside. So one of the problems that they have with them, though, is that they don't really have anything online. They do have a website, that's true, but they don't really have like the ability to like pay online or an app. Whereas like something like Mod Pizza or even McDonald's has have an app that you can order. Now, these small mom and pop shops, they don't have that. They're not online. And then I asked her, I said, hey, do you have a social media account? And they said, no, we're not on social media, because I really wanted to shout them out, tag them, and do all of that kind of thing. So how do we get people online so that people can find them and connect with them? That's the first question. And really, selling is part of that. So, understanding that you have something to offer. And right now, the only way to sell it really is digitally. And so, how do we become better salespeople in the sense of how do we offer the things that our clients and customers need right now and help them get that? So, Mod Pizza is another really a good example of that. They are a kind of if you haven't been there, you go in and you choose your crust and then you decide what you're going to put on it. It's a little bit like Subway for pizza, I guess. And the problem with that, of course, is that right now nobody wants anybody breathing on them or like going through a line and looking over a glass. I mean, they're really hurting, as I'm assuming Subway is too, because that's just not the kind of place. There's other pizza places like that too, where you just go grab your slices, like CC's Pizza, and I'm assuming all of these they have to go to a complete delivery model. Well, definitely Mod Pizza did that. I mean, they pivoted and now they're offering free delivery. So I do believe that it can be done. Now, pizza's maybe a bit easier because there's somebody to look at, because there's Papa John's and there's Domino's and so on. So if you have something in your industry, you're like, hey, I have this thing that I do. I've been hearing about people with hair extensions, for example. People that do hair extensions or hairdressers that cut your hair. Oh my gosh, I need my hair cut so bad right now. And that can't be done virtually. So I'm really interested in thinking about those problems. How can we solve some of those problems over time? Because if I don't get a haircut for another, 6 months, and some women, if we don't get our hair dyed or whatever, I don't dye my hair. But if you do that, like dye your roots and stuff, it's going to become very interesting. It's going to become very interesting around here. So I do think that we need to come up with some ways to do that. So I would love, by the way, if you're here, for you to drop your name in the comments and tell me hi. Let me know where you're listening from, which platform. I actually am streaming this 4 places, so I'd love to know where you're at. I do see your comments over here on the side, and I have them all open. So I would love to know if you are with me today. So anyway, that being said, that was number 4. It's about the relationship that you have with people. So here's the thing. That's the other cool thing about digital right now. Even if you can't sell your items online, you can grow your relationships right now. This is something that I think that all of anybody who has any kind of business can do right now, is to grow the relationships they have with people. And by the way, if you work for a company and you've been laid off, first of all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're going through that. I really am, because it's tough. But what are you going to do with this time? Who are you going to um, really like be? Who are you really going to be online? What are you going to try to build? Because right now is a great time to build relationships. Hey, Laban, how are you doing? Um, yes, this is my very first read on sales too. Anyway, so I would just say that, you have a very important time right here. Somebody said, let's not waste this time. Don't waste your time in your isolation here by not growing your network. Because even if you're just looking for employment in the future, right now is the time to grow those relationships. And by the way, selling yourself is really important too, not just selling items and products and services, but also yourself and your skills. So if you're an employed person and you are worried about your job, or any of those things, right now is the time to differentiate yourself. You have the time, the space, and the effort to do it. So you need to think about where you're going to take that and start thinking about how you're going to put that together. So that's number 4. You really need to sell yourself. I'm going to kind of keep going through these. Number 5, it's not work, it's the network. Haha. So yeah, there you go again. Once again, it's all about the network that you have, and the people that you know. And that's how you go, hey, doctor. Hey, Dr. V, how are you doing? Hey, I'm so glad you're here. You guys, you're doing such a great job, by the way. Dr. V is here, and he is doing some cool stuff with his newsletter. So I would love for us to talk. Maybe you could come on sometime and talk about how you, as a doctor of all people, are using social media to connect with your patients in the group. So that'd be awesome. Anyway, so I'll DM you through probably LinkedIn, anywhere through Twitter, whichever one works. Anyway, so I'm just really excited about having people on like Dr. V, because, for example, you wouldn't think that like an online version of a doctor would happen, right? Like, they're in hospitals and they are seeing patients. So if you feel like you're in an industry or in a situation where you're like scratching your head, you're thinking, Brian, I know, I'm sorry. That's just what it says on there. So where you're scratching your head and thinking, I don't know how to do this. I really don't know how, like, I even fit in here. Please let me know, because let's brainstorm around it. I'm totally willing to help anybody brainstorm some ideas about how they can show up during this time. So please DM me or leave a comment, and I will definitely brainstorm with you about how you can build something during this time. I'm pretty good at like the ideation stuff. So definitely reach out to me. I would love to help anybody on that. If you're like, hey, I don't really see how my thing could actually be online. I don't see it. Let me know. Let's talk about it. We could probably figure it out. So number 6. Oh, this is a good one. If you can't get in front of the real decision maker, yeah, it's never going to happen. So one of the things that I think happens a lot too is that we try to sell our ideas to people that can't make decisions about those ideas. And the problem with that is that person may love your idea and even tell you how great it is. And then you go back thinking you had a big sale and things are going to go great. And then nothing ever happens. And the reason is because they don't have the authority to make the decision. So you also need to make sure when you're talking to people in sales that you're talking to the person who can make the decision about the sale. So, I guess that's another one that's really important while you're thinking about your audience, your ideal audience. So I've seen people with that too. People that help, like, say, teenagers with something. You may not be selling to the teenager. You might actually have to sell to their parents in order to get the teenager. So that's one way, because the parents are holding the purse strings. So that would be number 5 or 6, excuse me. So 7, engage me and you can make me convince myself. Okay, I love this one. What this one means is a lot of times all you have to do to really make people think you're smart is to ask them a couple of questions and let them do all the talking. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you ask them a question, you get them talking, And at the end, they go away thinking, man, that Cami was brilliant. She's so brilliant. But you know who's really brilliant? They are. They're brilliant. They came up with their own ideas, but you just sat there and facilitated it. And because you facilitated it, they think you're brilliant. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. It's even amazing. So, um, let's go here. Let's see. Ask the right questions. Yes, you're totally right. Trollstein too. I'm seeing the people from Twitter are coming in as like their handles. So I don't know what your real name is, but hi, how are you? Thank you. You're totally right. The number 8. Oh, I like this one. If you can make them laugh, you can make them buy. So I have this. This is really funny, and I'm going to probably mess up her name, but there is a voice teacher up in New York City, and she actually is a very exclusive voice teacher. She works with stars on Broadway and helps them, like dear Evan Hansen stars and people like that. And my son showed me her live stream the other day. So she's live streaming right now from Instagram. So she's doing a live stream on Instagram. And as she's talking, and by the way, this is the funny part about it. She's not on there like teaching people how to sing and playing the piano. What she's doing is like doing her nails and putting on her makeup. So I thought today, because of her, in honor of her, I put on my makeup here. So she's doing stuff like this. She's like, oh, you guys don't mind if I do my nails, do you? And she's just taking out her nails thing. And the kids love it. They're watching her nonstop. So she's streaming every day for hours at a time. And then every once in a while, she'll pop out and just pick somebody out of who's live streaming with her, because you can do that in Instagram. You can say, hey, and she'll bring somebody on live with her, and then she'll listen to them sing. She'll let them sing, and she just listens to them, and then she kind of like says a few words, and then she moves on and she does something else. And it's funny. It's funny and it's engaging. And I was really surprised at how sucked in I was by that. I'm a singer, so I do have an interest in that. So it was kind of interesting. And she's an amazing singer, truly super amazing. So, there's something to be said about and by the way, that actually brings in that last one that we talked about, let people be amazing, which is really around, engage me and you can make me convince myself. I am sure by the end of this, there's so many people that are going to be standing in line for years for her to have her become their vocal coach because of what she's doing right now. These kids are going to grow up, some of them go to Broadway. They're going to be like, I have to have this vocal coach, period. So anyway, awesome. So that's really, really interesting to me. So there you go. Engage me and you can make me convince myself. And if you can make them laugh, you can make them buy. And that's the other thing she's doing. She's just being herself, being funny. I have a little bit of a self-depreciating sense of humor sometimes that I use. You got to be careful with humor, of course, because humor can also alienate people if you're not careful. But I do think that if it's sort of the sort of humble humor, that's what I'm going to call it, humble humor, it works really well because people can see that you're just a human being just like them, and that you don't take yourself too seriously, and that, hey, if you make a mistake, just moving on. And so I do that as well. I just don't worry too much about the mistakes I'm making, and I talk about them, and I'm just real clear that I make mistakes too. We all do. So that's number 8. And then number 9, oh, this is good. Use creativity to differentiate and dominate. So what does that mean? Creativity is, obviously in the eye of the beholder in many ways. So I'm going to go run to that page and kind of tell you what that means. So what you want to do with creativity is really think about the different things that you would do to make yourself stand out in a marketplace. So it really has a lot to do with observing what's going on in the marketplace and looking for places to be different, to stand out in some way. There's some concerns I think that people have around getting into digital marketing, especially, which is that everybody's already done that. There's so many people doing that already. But you know what? You are a person, you bring something to the table that nobody else does. And you know what that is, right? Right? Tell me. Somebody tell me. Does somebody know? That's right. You. It's you. So anyway, you are what you bring to this. And I think that's really, really important to remember is that you have a special something that other people don't have, and whatever your shtick is, you need to find out what it is and work with it. And people will tell you. One of the things that a lot of people tell me is that I give practical advice. Like I'm very good at just giving practical advice. And when I speak at conferences, I give tools and tips that people can walk away with. My hope is people will walk away from everything I've ever done with one thing that they can implement right away. That's kind of my claim to fame, if you will. That's what I like to do, is make sure that people do that. And so that's my creative flair. What is yours? That's my question. What's your creative flair? That's what I want to know. So number 10 is reduce their risk and you'll convert selling to buying. So here's the other part is that whenever you give an offer, you need to make it kind of a no-brainer. You need to make sure that whatever offer you're putting out there is something that people like, even if they can't afford it, and people say, wow, if I could only afford that right now, this is so awesome. You'll hear that a lot when you put out an offer that's really, really compelling. And not everybody can afford every offer every time, and they shouldn't. I always say, don't buy it if you're not going to be like, it's not going to be, you're not going to be all in. Because here's the thing. The other thing that's really interesting is that when people buy something and they put their money where their mouth is, it comes with commitment. That's where the commitment comes from. So if you give something away for free, generally the people that get something for free don't value it as much and they don't necessarily do it. Just saying, they may not finish. They may not, like for a course, like an online course. How many online courses or like webinars have you signed up for that you just didn't show up for? Free. Tell me. Do you know? I hate to say hundreds for me probably, but hundreds. So I want to know what you're doing with that. So let's talk on that front. So really, it's all about reducing their risk. So when you reduce their risk, that means you add something into the offer. So for example, you're going to give them something like in your offer, you're going to throw something in that reduces their risk, like a 30-day money back guarantee, or you hear this stuff all the time. Or, if you buy this now, then, you insure yourself that it never goes up in price. So you want to reduce their risk as much as possible, like their perceived risk, so that they feel really good about making the decision. And that's really the thing. And right now, specifically, I think during this period of time, reducing risk is really important because there's so much risk around us right now in the physical world, that reducing risk around the things that you're selling becomes really important. And a lot of the tools and stuff out there are seeing that right away, like giving you 20% discounts if you buy now, or 6 months for free, or whatever. That's happening right now a lot. And the reason why it's happening is because, we need to reduce the risk for people. They need to feel like, I'm making a good decision here. I want to do this. I need to do this, but also, you're giving me a reason to do this. So that's really important right now too, when you're doing online selling. And then 11, when you say it about yourself, it's bragging. When someone else says it about you, it's proof. Okay, so that's testimonials and that kind of thing. So one of the things that I would say right away is that if you're on LinkedIn, for example, now is a good time to maybe reach out to some of the people that you've helped over the last year, either in your career, if you're working full time, or in your business, and ask them if they would mind giving you a testimonial on your LinkedIn profile. It is the easiest way, guys, to get a testimonial. So you can go to my LinkedIn profile, and I know not everybody has that here. The ones that are on LinkedIn right now can see it, but I am going to send you my LinkedIn profile. You can go there, get it in there. Let's see here. 2-ply toilet paper stock. Oh, how funny. Yeah. That's funny. So anyway, so here's my LinkedIn profile. Hopefully you guys can go there. Tell me you saw me. Leave me a note so I know you saw me on one of these live streams, and we can then talk there. But the bottom line is that you can ask people for a testimonial. So I've done that over the years, and I've got quite a few testimonials in there, and that's how I've gotten them, just for being there and doing that. Yep. It is good for gathering those things right now. So Jessica, it's like low risk to ask somebody to do that. And if they don't do it, they don't, but you can ask. You can say, hey, LinkedIn allows you to, they have a mechanism by which you can do it. You can go in there and ask for um, those things. And so if you don't know how to do it, let me know in LinkedIn. I will happily show you. Um, that being said, um, you also want to, this is good. So one of the things he talks about is antennas up. And that's what that means. It's kind of vague in the front here, but what that really means, and I'm going to open to that page so I can show you. Antennas up is really about awareness, being aware of who's around you and what opportunities exist right now. And that's what all of the things I've been talking about in all of these videos, guys, is really about how to be aware about what your opportunities are right now. It feels really awful in some ways, but there's also a ton of opportunities right now because things are changing and shifting so fast. You have some advantages during this time as the underdog that you wouldn't have in regular times. Facebook advertising is like very low, and I don't think it'll stay low for very long because people are figuring that out. Right now is the time to be doing that. There's a lot of interesting things and opportunities right now. So having your head up above the clouds and not getting too sucked in. So one of the things I've been doing is really limiting the time that I'm spending on social media, not social media, but on the news. So I'm really limiting my news consumption. So I have to do it because again, I have to follow this pandemic because, well, we have healthcare clients and it's really important that I know what's going on. But I'm trying to limit them. So I give myself a diet. Like in the morning, I check and see what happened overnight. And then I check again in the evening. And then if there's something that pops up in between, because we can see if it pops up because we are dealing with the public directly through Facebook. So we'll see if people start talking about something, and then I'll make sure I'm up to date. I stopped watching the daily briefs from the White House because I feel like that they're just sensationalist and sometimes inaccurate. So I just need to make sure that I afterwards I see what an encapsulated version of it, so I know what happened, but I don't need to watch every single. It's because at first I was watching these things and they just drag you down, and they take up all your time. Right now, I feel like I need to move fast, and so that is one of the things I'm doing right now. Is I am moving faster than I would have on an online training course for how to put together your social media strategy. I'm working overtime on that. I actually just did I'm working with another organization right now. I just did a kind of a deal, I guess you could say that, or I'm working on a deal right now where we will be doing some webinars over the next couple of weeks to really help small businesses that are, kind of looking to do a pivot right now. And they are like a micro lending platform. So I'm moving fast right now, people, and you need to do the same thing. You need to do the same thing. So smartsocialsecrets.com is the thing that I'm launching very soon. And part of that is I give out a little free gift for how to pull together some strategic content ideas for yourself. So if you are struggling with your content and like what am I going to say? What am I going to do? I'm going to actually throw that link in here for you guys to sign up to get that 6-month planner. And then it also will send you about 6 emails that come right after. I call it a mini course, and it's in email. You don't have to go anywhere or sign up for anything in there. And it's just in an email. It tells you how to put together your strategic content. So, smartsocialsecrets.com. And by the way, for whatever reason, that didn't go out on Twitter. So smartsocialsecrets.com. And you can go there and sign up for that 6-month planner. Plus, you'll see what I'm doing with Smart Social Secrets, and you'll see how I'm pivoting myself. So that's how it works. Those are the things that he had in here that I thought was good. Oh, and the last one, which is 12.5, is resign your position as general manager of the universe. And what he means by that is you don't have to take credit, not credit. Credit's part of it too. You don't have to take credit or blame for everything that's going on around you. My husband reminds me of this all the time because I want to make sure all of the little restaurants around our house stay in business and everything, and he knows that. So he says, you don't have to save the whole world. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, because I really do feel like that sometimes. And so there's that one. And also on the other side is that, you are also, you need to take credit for the things that you have, but you also need to make sure that you understand that, it's not always your fault, but sometimes it is, so you also have to take responsibility when in the areas that you can control. So in the things that you can control, take responsibility. In the things that you can't control, don't. So I don't know which side of the fence you fall there, but the bottom line is that guys, we can stand together, and each one of us has an area of responsibility. Each one of us has an area of responsibility. You have an area of responsibility that you can impact. You know, AA talks about that, not worrying about the things you can't control and really doing what you can. So I'm paraphrasing that, but you hear what I'm trying to say. You absolutely have something to give in this situation, even if it's just like, working with your friends or making sure the little old lady down the street has a roll of toilet paper or whatever. You have a role to play, and if we all play our role, we will not like devolve into a crazy society that's like, out everybody out for themselves. And I think that's really what we're standing up against right now, guys. That is really what the big potential is if we don't do the right thing. Is that everybody will just be out for themselves and out, scraping away. And so I know that's weird in a conversation about sales, but the truth is that we have to sell calm. We have to sell ideas. And we have to sell products and services to make our economy continue. But the bottom line is that, go out there, be safe, be well. Next week, I'll be back with a bunch more of these. I'm not going to be doing them daily next week. I'm going to start on Tuesday, Thursday now. So I'm going to get into a rhythm, and I'll probably continue these for a long time. So we're going to get into a Tuesday, Thursday rhythm. And I also have a lot of cool guests coming up. So I'm really excited about that. People are signing up. And I'm going to be getting all of these guests on soon. So just come back, put it on your calendar. It'll be Tuesday, Thursdays at 8:15 a.m. wherever you're watching now. Plus, I'm on Facebook on Smart Social Secrets, which is our new page around the course. So definitely, if you're on Facebook, go there and follow us there. I'm going to be on LinkedIn on my personal profile. Which is I've put in the comments or the show notes or wherever you guys are at. And I am on YouTube. All of these actually go to YouTube and my YouTube channel, and I'm cataloging them there. So you can definitely go back and watch any of the past episodes on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/KamiChat, KAMICHAT. So that's another place you can look. So we're and then of course on Twitter, always on Twitter. So we are on those 4 platforms, and we'll continue to do that. So I'm really excited, and let me know any questions you have, any problems that you have, anything that you're saying, I don't really see that, Cami. I don't see how I could do that. Let me know. I will help you. I promise. We'll come up with some kind of plan for you. So reach out. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.